Hey, this is Mead here. We're going to do a video today reviewing Scott Robertson's How to Draw. We're going to see if it's for you. It might not be. It's one of the great books out there. So let's have a look at a few pages and we'll get right into the review. Here it is, the edition of Scott Robertson's How to Draw. Subtitle is Drawing and Sketching Objects and Environments from Your Imagination. Though I think you would find a lot of concepts that are useful for observational drawing as well. So let's see here. Divided into some pretty standard chapters. Like all drawing books, the chapter on materials, there's some prerequisite information, and then it goes through chapters on all the construction methods, and then by subject, environments, aircraft, vehicles, and a final chapter on style. It's also indexed, which is convenient. The drawing materials chapters, I don't know, I feel like they're almost always throwaway chapters once you've drawn. However, the cool thing in here is this right here, which I had never really used before. It's called an equal spacing divider. It's something that you'll find, it was a little bit hard to find as a drawing supply, pretty commonly used as a spacing divider in sewing as well as in leather work. But these precise ones I found were kind of out of stock, and so I had to search really far to find one. This one's from Pacific Arc, which is your well-known technical drawing company. And the basic thing is if you want to divide a line segment into specific proportions, you totally can. So if you need to divide something in half or in thirds or whatever, you can bring this out, line up these points along your line, and then you can tick mark where all the scale dividers are, which this comes in handy when you're doing things that are more technical. And Scott Robertson's How to Draw is much more technical. To make full use of this book, you would probably already want to have some idea of what's going on with linear perspective. Another book on perspective would probably be a good place to start before you even really get into this stuff. This mirroring in perspective thing is pretty interesting as well. This, I don't tend to use very much. However, if I were drawing the kind of things in as technical a way as Scott Robertson does, I would make use of this heavily. This is one of the more interesting like prerequisite components that's not in a lot of books, and it's not explained in exactly this way. The particularly interesting part about this is the mirroring planes that are tilted or rotated, which I find totally fascinating and really complicated. So I had to go through these twice when I was teaching my technical drawing class this last semester, just to be sure I actually understood this stuff, because it's not something that I would commonly use. I sketch more freehand and loose, and not as technical. One of the things that I was thinking about when I was teaching my technical drawing class is that the reason that you do technical drawing is so that you get stuff right on the first or second try. If you're drawing stuff freehand, the chances of you creating something that are a little bit off or a little bit wonky, maybe doesn't work as well, are a little bit higher. So what you'll see in this book is Scott Robertson advocates for doing a loose sketch first and then translating that up into a finalized sketch using all these technical drawing methodologies, which I think is a really smart way of doing it. Now, he goes over some perspective grid types. One of the things that he suggests is that you create some perspective grids to trace over using a light table and just repeatedly use the same perspective grids. And if you're drawing things that are repetitive, like product designs, things like that, if you're doing like architectural designs or prop designs that have to be shown from a specific angle, I think that's great. This is kind of cool. This has like a computer generated underlay here that's then traced over and drawn by hand. I love the idea of mixing digital and analog work. A lot of times with my own stuff, I'll take drawings that I've sketched out by hand and then put them in Photoshop and either just throw colors on top or under them or paint over them completely. But I like the idea that there's this combination of using the analog and the digital, using all the tools that you can to create something. there was one that I need to show early on. It's called the Brewer method. So this is something that I never knew about and wish that I did in art school, because this would make things way easier. The basic problem of doing a 2-point perspective grid is, like, let's say this is your paper. When you do 2-point perspective, the vanishing points are off the page, which means that you have to, like, get out a really long ruler and draw all your perspective grid lines off the page, and all the time, the page is sliding, or the page is so big that you need a ruler that's like 6 feet long. That stuff happens all the time. It's really frustrating. So this Brewer method is a way to do the 2-point perspective grid without having to put the vanishing points off the page. So the way it works is, essentially what you're doing is establishing a rectangle, subdividing the rectangle using an equal spacing divider or a ruler, dividing it in half and in quarters, or as many subdivisions as you need. And then when you connect the dots, that creates your perspective grid. So what you have to do is begin with this kind of little Y shape here. So you take your vertical and 2 diagonals, and then add a 3rd diagonal. When you add this 3rd diagonal, you have to make sure that these aren't exactly parallel, that they are going to dovetail together. What he recommends is using a photograph that has the sort of perspective angle that you want to base these angles off of. This really also needs to be done with a ruler. The other concern is that you do need to make sure that the lines here are, like, perfectly vertical, perfectly horizontal, and that they're exactly 90 degrees from each other when you create this rectangle. Otherwise, it'll drift off and it won't be as accurate. And if it's not accurate, there's no real point to doing this method. It would be better just to estimate it in freehand. He breaks it down, step by step here, and you can see the final result here on this page. I don't know necessarily that you would need everything in this book. This book is really geared towards somebody that's had a couple of drawing classes already and is really starting to advance. So this is something that would get you from kind of like your intermediate to your intermediate advanced and advanced stages. If you've been drawing a while and you have a method for drawing, and you run into a situation that you're not quite sure what to do, chances are, if you need the technical explanation for how it works, it's probably in this book, and that's worth having in your library. One of the most difficult situations here is what we have here is the sort of XYZ section drawing, where you're doing like objects that are rounded in each plane and continuously round all the way through, and have kind of flat sides and kind of flat top, but not really. It's great for drawing vehicles. Things start to get even more complicated with how everything's translated up and down. Here he gets into ideas about line weight, and this is a really simple way to draw objects without having to do value, but to use the line weight to bring things forward and push things back. Basic idea is that heavy and dark pulls forward, thin and light pulls back. Even has an environment chapter, which is kind of cool because it goes into more compositional effects and how you might use perspective in composition. This is really cool, this page of thumbnail sketches. These are almost too good for thumbnails. And I think that's kind of a testament to Scott Robertson's sort of approach and his skill level. What you can see here is this marker underlay for the sketch. And I think what he's doing is taking like a 10% gray marker, sketching it all out, and then coming back with ink even in the thumbnail. In thumbnails, I tend to just go for it, but then when I'm sketching out and like translating into a study or the more formalized thing, then I'll get the marker out and sketch like that. So this shows you kind of a 4-step process. It's probably not enough steps to really fully understand environment drawing and design, but this is just kind of an intro to it and some things to give you some ideas. Now, I don't think everyone wanting to learn how to draw is going to get a lot out of every single page here, but that's not the point of books. The point of a book like this is to provide a good and thorough addition to your reference library so that you go to this book for the solution when you encounter a problem. Is this book for you? Maybe. That's always the question with every book, though. If you're a beginning artist and you've never drawn before, no, definitely not. This is not the book to start with. If you are a beginner and you're committed to learning and you have a big book budget, and you're going to spend, $400 or $500 on books to use for the next couple of years, sure, go ahead. If you're an intermediate artist and midway through your drawing journey and you've kind of gotten bored with the basic drawing books and materials and you're ready to advance and you feel like your technique is solid but it needs additional help, if you're going into serious prop design, if you're going to be drawing before you 3D model something, if you're going to go into industrial design, this is the sort of book for you. If you're teaching drawing like me, definitely grab this book. It's got some nuggets in it. The list price of this book is $40. It retails for less than that. You could probably get it used or borrow it from the library a lot of times. It's definitely worth the price considering how long it is. The printing quality is pretty good. You get some good nuggets out of it, and it's gonna sit comfortably in your reference library for sure. That's it for this video. Just wanted to let you know that there's gonna be more book reviews, more videos coming soon. I've also been working hard on the Patreon. I'm putting the most detailed and full course material up there now. It's taken a while because I'm really trying to exhaust my knowledge on a given topic and put that out there. Additionally, if you just want to support me and the channel and keep this work going, I would appreciate joining in on the Patreon, and there's all kinds of tiers, everything from free on up. So look out for more videos. Feel free to ask questions in the comments, and I will catch you soon.